What is going on, everybody? We are back on it. Attack on Titan. This is going to be our season 4 preparation video. This should be dropping Sunday. I'm going to need messages, direct links to where I can find the season 4. I'm pretty sure it comes out next weekend, so I'm going to upload this on Sunday, the 29th. In this video, we're going to rewatch the final episode of season 3. I'm going to chunk it up and do a 10-minute highlight. And then we're going to talk about, I wrote a bunch of notes down for season 3 and just kind of overall arching notes and talking points I don't want to kind of get out, speculate, all in preparation for season 4. So we're going to re-react to that final episode, talk about a bunch of questions, and I'm going to use this as my kind of editing test video. If you're seeing this video and there's not a big watermark here that I'm having to put in front of a video, then it should work, and I'm going to try to go with that. I've been watching a lot of other reactors that put up, audio and visuals, just trying to see the landscape. And I know it's never perfect. Some of the bigger reactors, Blind Wave and other people, I mean, especially during the lockdown, you especially saw them not uploading on their channels for 2, 3, 4 weeks at a time because they were getting copyright strikes and their channels were getting suspended. And that's the risk that I've ran into before. I've had my channel suspended before, back when Tokyo Ghoul and My Hero Season 3 came out, I think, or Season 2, whichever it was. So I've had my channel suspended before. I had to make a backup channel. I've been through all that. And there's other reactors I'm out here watching that are, bigger than Blind Wave, less than Blind Wave. I'm just using that as a general baseline. That have they don't do 10-minute highlights. They put the whole video, triple HD, full audio, and their channels are rocking smooth and rocking fine. So how YouTube does what they do, I don't know. I know a lot of it's automated, if not all of it. It's computer automated. Why some channels seem to get picked on more than others. Why some channels can put everything they want to and it not be an issue, I don't know. Why some channels, I can barely put up a 30-second with 10% brightness like you're going to see right here, and it'll get striked. That's what you risk when you're doing reactions. But for this video, I'm going to test out doing a 10-minute highlight. You're going to be able to see the video. I'm going to have it pretty much damn near 100% brightness. I'm going to include audio as well. And we're going to see how it goes. So for my Attack on Titan Season 4, the plan is to put the 10-minute highlights on YouTube and then put the full-length reactions on Patreon. Maybe a week or two after, I'll bring the full-length reaction to YouTube, or I'm debating if I should wait till the entire season's over. I don't know how many episodes it is. I don't know if we're doing 12, 13, 24, I don't know. But that seems like a long time to wait, and would people even be if we're doing 24 episodes, me uploading the full-length reaction to episode 1 24 weeks later, it's who's really going to be interested in that? So maybe I'll do it a week or two after. So the Sunday, everybody on YouTube will get, episode 1 10-minute highlight, and Patreon will get the full. Then maybe when we come back around next week, I'll put the full length for episode 1, but then episode 2 will be the highlight. We'll play around with it and see how it goes. Regardless of all that, I want to try to put this audio and this visual here. And we're going to play around with it, and we're going to see how it goes. So this is going to be our Attack on Titan Season 4 prep study guide video. I've got a ton of questions I want to bring up at the end that I got throughout Season 3 and that I've kind of had just throughout the whole entire journey. In my opinion, right now, unless they pull a Game of Thrones, they are literally skipping, backpedaling, doing cartwheels to the finish line, in my opinion, as the greatest anime ever that I've seen. Better than Naruto, better than Hunter x Hunter, better than X, Y, and Z, whatever you want to call it. So unless they pull a Game of Thrones, I don't see how they mess this up. And I've had people tell me that have read the manga that there's still things that us as anime viewers aren't mentally ready for, or prepared for, or can't even fathom what's still to come. So just thinking about that kind of blows my mind, and there's just a lot. So we're gonna re-react to the final episode of season 3 right here. And then we're gonna have a big discussion. I'd love for you guys to go back and forth in the comments. We can answer the questions, do all that stuff. And let's go from there. Also, if you're watching this video, because I had a lot of people complain. I've had it span over like 10 different videos, so I can't keep up with this. When this video is live, go to my YouTube community page, one of the tabs. I need people to list me the proper websites to use to finish these last 10 chapters of Hunter x Hunter. I had a lot of people tell me, hey, these aren't the official translations, and you guys have been telling me for weeks, but I've been having people send it to me on Twitter, Instagram. I've had people to send it to me on like the first episode of the Hunter x Hunter chapters I reacted to, 5 episodes. Like, they're all over the place. I want it in one concise place. Even if you're a Patreon member, DM it in the Discord. But I'm gonna have a community post up. It's gonna just say, leave the proper Hunter x Hunter chapter links in here. Put the links there so I can have it all in one community post, and then I can just pick one from there. Yeah, let's go ahead and get into this final episode of Season 3, and we got a lot to discuss after that. I forgot how the people ended up taking it when they released all this information. I think some of them like believed it, half of them were like, no, it's not true, X, Y, and Z. I mean, it's kind of hard to just outright believe that. I remember this scene. This is when Flock gets that chest poking out. She was thinking about him, and he was thinking about her. She wasn't sleeping. She was actually worried about him.
Isn't that right, Flock? You should tell her.
I forgot how real Flock got here. He hit everybody with the shits.
Thanks for that.
Everybody.
I'll laugh if you guys screw up the ceremony.
It's like that one video. What's that one video that goes around where that guy ends up slapping everybody? Like, he slaps his kids, slaps his parents, slaps his grandparents. His pastor comes. He's just slapping everybody. This is Flock right here. He even hit, I think he hits Connie and fucking Jean with the shit. He even called Levi out. And he still admits that, like, I'm fodder, I'm a coward. But he's at least speaking up now. And I do agree, and I said this when it first came out. I think it should have been Erwin, but it's been done. But like Kenny said,
on the other side of the wall, freedom is...
there is no freedom on the other side of the wall. You think it's different, but it's not.
All right, you brats.
And he realized that. There's nothing for them on the other side of the wall. You could say life is worse. At least they could stay on their sides of the wall and keep trading the Titan power back and forth. Oh, no, actually they can't because they don't have any more Titan juice to give up, but you could say their life, you could say their life is better here than what their I don't want to say relatives, but I don't know the proper word, that their people are going through on the other side. And like Kenny said, everybody's a slave to something. And I think Aaron tried to explain that Armin's different. He's not trying to think about, fighting or whatever. Armin is a slave to something. He wants to see the sea. He wants to know what's out there. He's got the Irwin going on. I think we get a flashback here when they touch. What does he end up seeing? He's seeing his... And then we gotta figure out what's that time period skip between Season 3 and Season 4. It's been at least 2 years, I think. 6 years total. Okay, so 6 years total. At this point... So at this point, Aaron has 7 years left. Do we know who that is? I feel like most Titans we've seen have been somebody we've seen transformed, like in a flashback or something. Kind of looks like, it kind of looks like
which means it's a fellow patriot.
Grish's dad, but this could be somebody just that we've never seen. And I wonder, I'll talk about that, because the police guy, the police guy that was, killed Faye and all that, he had it down to saying, we'll turn this one into a 3 to 4 meter Titan. Like, they could even, does that depend on the amount of syringe juice that they give? If we give them a little, they'll be a shorter one. If we give them a lot, they'll turn into a big one like Dinah did. That honestly looked like a baby was injected. And that's why the limbs were so small, but I'm curious how much Armin uses his, because we saw what Berthold did with his. Like, is Armin gonna be that much of, like, pretty much a nuke? Like, just coming in, I mean, there's not a single Titan out there that can stop him by himself. They have, what, 4 on their side? Could they bring him down if they had to? That's the thing. They've had these Titans at their disposal. They probably know weaknesses that we don't know about. Probably not Aaron's because it hasn't been in their possession. But maybe besides cutting, the nape, maybe they know how to slow down the armor, the Colossal, and what can distract him, make him topple over easily. I mean, just not even with other Titans, just in the technology that they have, they could bring his ass down. They damn near probably have fighter pilots by now with the technology they have over there.
Now it looks like I was right.
So what do you do now that your dream has been achieved, Armin?
Yeah.
We said the same about Herwin.
I always believed.
I'm so worried about these 3 too, the Connie, Jean, and Sasha. Man. Yep. So that means what he was seeing is true. The wall and the sea, they found it. So there's
We did cross.
a war waiting for them over there.
Killed our enemies. After that, would we finally be free?
And at this point, you've got to be asking yourself, what is freedom? Okay, so we've watched that. I got a lot of notes to go through. Some of them are repetitive, but this is the long sprint. We're in here for the long haul with these questions. So if you guys are down for some questions and discussions on season 3, we gotta get into it. I'll start at the very, very top. And this kind of coincides into another question. What the hell happened in Connie's village? We still have not gotten answers on that. I think that happened back in season 2 as well, if I remember correctly. How do they turn that many people that quickly? Now that we kind of have a little bit more information, all we've seen as a viewer for Eldians to be turned into Titans is for them to have been injected with the spinal fluid, the Titan juice, whatever you want to call it. They could have. Maybe they got there first and they're like, oh, this is a village. We can inject all these people, turn them into Titans, and really have them get in people's way and mess things up. They could have done that way. But I don't think that is the correct way that it happened. Maybe that is. Maybe it's that simple as they got there first. They went house by house, door by door, yanking people out, injecting them. Maybe I can't think back to exactly what happened in that sequence other than like Sasha and her, like, I don't remember if she had a gun or bow and arrow, I think. I can't remember who all was involved as far as Zeke, Berthold, Reiner. But it could have been as much as Zeke hulking out as the Beast Titan, scaring everybody, and then Berthold and the others just going around and inject. That's how it happened. But I'm going to say it's not. And that leads into a 2-parter of how the hell did Zeke instant spawn those Titans when they were in Shiganshina, taking it back over. When they found Reiner in the walls and Levi stabs him in the neck and he transforms, and they have the Cart Titan and all that kind of stuff. When Erwin is like, everybody keep an eye out, we don't know where they might be, and you see this is in the trailer, you see the line of Titans spawn behind him. And at the time, I was like, oh shit, they're all shapeshifters. But then we learned that there's only 9. So how did they all summon that instantly, that fast? I don't know. Still TBD. So we got the Connie's village question. I'm curious what Annie plays in this storyline. Does she play anything, or is it just whoever ends up being the victor will release or do something with her. I don't know. They'll find her in there somewhere because unless the battle comes to them, she's never getting out. Um, and I'm curious, like, is she even conscious or what? How long can she stay in that popsicle form without like wearing down or recover? I don't know. But if the battle is brought to the mainland, Annie serves no purpose. But I feel like story-wise, it'd be easier to tell the story with Paradis or Paradise getting invaded. Because the mainland, they have the technology and the tanks and the planes and their enemies in one centralized location. It'd be easier to see that getting invaded and Aaron and them having to defend their home. Um, yeah, Aaron and them could wash up on shore on the mainland and, mess up a couple outer cities, but this is still a militarized country. You mess up a couple cities, but like, a week later, they're rolling in with a full outfitted tanks and fighter pilots and they're dropping bombs. Like, that just seems like it seems like they're just marching to their death if that's the approach we take, but we'll see. Let me actually turn on. My phone keeps turning off because I'm talking so long in between questions. There we go. Yeah, so what happens with Annie? I have no idea. This was a curious question. I'm guessing, are they still of Eldian descent, but can the Ackermans be turned into Titans? Because we know they have some kind of pseudo boost of energy, like they're already got like some kind of Titan, not Titan ability, but they kind of have hidden Titan strength, that we see with Mikasa and we see with Levi. If they're injected, can they be turned into Titans? Do they still fall under that Eldian, or are they like half and half Marley half Eldian? And I'm not quite sure. Because if Kenny was to inject himself when he was under that tree, would he have even turned into a Titan? I don't know. Seeing Armin and Jean, and the others get their first human kill was a lot for Armin's character development. This is when we were fighting the military police squad with Kenny. And what's wild is because we saw the effect that had on Armin, and him thinking of himself, not as human anymore, or whatever you want to take it in Jean freezing, and not killing that girl. Their enemy is other humans. And when that time comes, would they freeze again? The thing with Armin is he's going to be in Titan form. He's not going to be seeing people face to face. He's not going to have like blood splatter on his face and be like horrified. He takes one swing of his arm, he could kill hundreds or thousands. And what does his mental do to process that? Is he going to chunk it up as to, I'm protecting my friends, this has to happen, or will it still kind of haunt his mental? We'll see. They mentioned this in the episodes. I don't know if this couple serves any purpose or anything. But I think this was when Hanji, Levi were interrogating one of the military police that ended up killing Pastor Nick, or whatever his name is. And they were like, we've had to do a lot of dirty work. We've had to take out a lot of people, like that teacher that knew too much, Erwin's dad. That couple that tried to fly. This was in episode 2 of season 3. Who was the couple that tried to fly? Is this just a couple added to the story? Clearly they're dead, but I'm guessing there was a point in time where a couple had developed a hot air balloon or something like that, and they were going to take flight and see, what's out there, and, they had to execute them. I thought that was an interesting choice, because we've never heard any more reference to them. We have the king altering memories. When he originally did that, I'm guessing maybe it was just in one big loud scream. I doubt he went, like, we saw, I think, Frida do this. Where she touched Historia's head with her head, and Historia didn't remember a damn thing. I doubt the original king went around and did that person to person. He could have. But I'm curious how that mind wiping takes place on a mass scale. Is like a scream from a Titan, like when they're in their Titan form? Is it something reflected off the sun or the moon? I don't know. Premier Zachary, bro. I honestly forgot about that man. But like, how is this man being able to hold a place of power that he does when everybody knows his kind of like perversions? And it's just so. I mean, if it was up to Premier Zachary, he'd have us all eaten through our asses and shitting out of our mouths. And what's wild is like how much the author and the story writer kept that going. Like, is that a thing that they're in? Like, I don't know why that's still so like brought up, um, and why it's a thing. I remember watching that back for the second time. I'm like, why is this harped on so much? Like, what is the writer like really trying to subliminally convey? That's just freaking me out. The Titan juice. It's Titan spinal fluid, but where do they get it from? Is it spinal fluid from the original 9 that has to be used? Do the Marlians just keep Eldian non-shapeshifter Titans in locks and chains and extract their spinal fluid? Basically, where is the spinal fluid taken from to have the Titan juice to then turn Eldians into Titans? How are they producing it? Where is it coming from? Is it taken from the 7? Did they just have mass stores of it from the original 7? I don't know. And then because Rod and Frida and Uri and they had this on them as well. So where the hell did they get it from? Did they extract it from whoever was the founding Titan that they kept passing? That's basically the main question. Where is the Titan juice coming from? They said the spinal fluid of Titans, but which Titans? Any generic Eldian turned into a Titan, we just hold them down, extract some spinal fluid, kill them, and keep it going? Or is it from the specific 7? I'm not sure. I am also curious where, if there's going to be a way to shake this founding Titans original god plan of, we will not fight back. But that seems like a mute question to even ask, because if we were to determine that, Eren would have to die and that power would have to go to Zeke or Historia for us to find out, okay, can this ability be shaken? So unless Eren dies with episodes left to explain how it's shaken, that's probably something that we're not going to get addressed, as far as why is the original king's mindset so strong that even the person with the strongest convictions, once they get it, they can't shake it? I don't know if it's like a curse, or if it's like once you get the memories, you yourself are like, this can never happen again. But we don't see them be the same person. But we saw Frida. I can't remember when we saw Frida. When she was with Historia, she was the founding Titan there when they would hang out a little bit. But we would see them kind of lose themselves. Like, you would see bits of like who Frida was, but then you would also see her spazzing out at the same time. Same with Uri. He seemed kind of like enlightened on another like plane. So I feel like it's more of like it takes you over. Not you're still the same person, but you've been so traumatized on the past memories that it makes you just not want to do, whatever it is you wanted to accomplish. Same thing like regular humans, we can't see the past. Like, you might be so strongly convicted into something, but once you gain a certain type of power and you get to see all there is to see, would your mindset change? I don't know. Kind of the only ass pull question mark thing I still wish never happened was that Eren got his armored ability out of like a 5-hour energy bottle. I do kind of wish that still wasn't a thing that happened. And then I think this was a big thing when I brought it up when it originally happened, was so that's something that I guess every shapeshifter Titan can accomplish. If he had that if Rod had that on his possession, I'm sure the Marlians have it on theirs. So we saw Zeke. He was like, oh, I gotta harden in time. We see Annie, she has that shit down mastered. We've seen Reiner do it. So I don't know if they got that through training or they got that through like a quick shot of juice. That was my only complaint that I really had pretty much across the whole season. And yeah, again, I don't know what goes into Titan, like Eldians in their size. And my biggest question was, why the hell was Rod so big? Why was he bigger than the Colossal Titan? But his legs, like he didn't like drink that entire thing of juice. He barely put it on his tongue, and the man was bigger than Bertholdt. I don't think there's any rhyme or reason, or who knows. The Shottis and the Grisha stuff. The air, I'd say probably the person I felt the worst for, and I kind of got reminded of it a little bit, was it's got to be Erwin. I probably feel the worst for him. His life was a sad, sad story. He got his father killed, and there's never going to be justice brought to that, because the justice would be his. It's not like his father was a king or somebody popular among the community. I mean, yeah, he was a teacher, sure, so people knew of him, and oh wow, he disappeared or he died. That's that's unfortunate. He had a son, but like, it's talked about and then it's forgotten. The only person seeking answers for that was his son. The community, the newspapers, they're not seeking answers to what happened to him. He just disappeared. He died. Oh wow, that's sad. It only mattered to Erwin, and even he set up his whole life, and the imagery they showed on him standing on those piles of dead bodies and his dead comrades behind him, he never got to know what his father died for, and that his father didn't die for nothing, and that he didn't get his father killed for nothing. Was he just a curious, naive boy that got his father killed? Yes, but at least what he got his father killed for, could it at least proven to be accurate? Could it be real? People around him are going to find that out, but it just doesn't hit the same to them as it would have to Erwin. I wish he would have made it at least to that basement. And he even admittedly said it when he lost his arm and they were going to make that march on Shigashina. Levi wanted him to stay behind, and he basically said, I'll choose my dream over. It was dream first, then humanity. Let me find out my dream. Let me get my answers. Then I'll help humanity. He was willing to put humanity at risk for his dream, which was reckless, but he got him as far as the scouts ever had been. But yeah, that's probably the character I felt bad for the most in this entire, all the season 3s combined. Erwin probably had the saddest story, because he never got those answers, and he died knowing he was never going to get those answers and gave up on his dream. It did help humanity go forward, even though Levi didn't get to kill Zeke, but it's just a sad story. It's just a sad, sad story. I'm curious how the Zeke versus Reiner fight went, because we don't really... The only Titans versus Titan fights that we've seen is Eren versus Reiner, Eren versus Annie. That's all we've seen. And every time we see it, it's just this grappling, boxing, two kids wrestling on the playground type thing. We've never really, besides Annie, but even hers is pretty much straight. We've never seen like finesse or skills or anything crazy. But when two Titans are fighting, it's just who can wrestle and throw hands the most, which is kind of what we saw with the Zeke versus Reiner. But I'm curious, is that how simple it went? It was just them slugging it out and Zeke came out on top? Or was there more finesse or something to it? I doubt we'll kind of see. We talked about Zeke summoning those Titans, how and where they came from. I don't know. The animal hearts that we saw in the opening, what was that about? We still never got addressed on that. I don't know if that was to symbolize kind of how Eldians are all connected through one pathway coordinate, or if that's something still. I don't know why you'd put that in a season 3 opening, but then it not be brought up. I don't know if it had to do with anything. I'm pretty sure I had a lot of people tell me it didn't have to do with anything. Erwin's dream, we talked about Marlowe and Hitch. We talked about sad as hell. Zeke's Titan controlling powers. It's as strong as it could get, right? Even if Historia was to, well, she'd have the coordinate, so I'd say it's probably a little bit stronger. Not probably a little bit, probably 10 times stronger. I'm curious if Eren. I mean, there's only two options that Eren can control the coordinates in the Titans. I don't know if Historia needs to be a Titan for him to do it, or he just needs to be touching Historia, or just have a piece of his blood with her, a piece of her blood with him at all times, or he's got to be touching Zeke, because Zeke is of royal blood as well. Those are the only ways Eren can control the Titans with the coordinate. So I'm curious if if he carries around Historia on his back like a little backpack, Baby Yoda on his back, into battle, or something like that. Is that stronger than what Zeke is able to do? We see Zeke do it even when he's a human, in human form, which we saw Eren do as well. But I'm curious kind of where the hierarchy of power, it probably would go to Eren because he has that coordinate, and that's probably 10 times stronger than what Zeke's able to do. But Zeke right now has the upper hand. So even if something was to happen to where, like, Paradise gets invaded and they're like, we got to release the Titans from the wall. They have all these tanks and military. We got to break them out of the wall. And, you know, Eren touches Historia and they somehow command all the Titans to come out of the walls and march on the shore. Could Zeke not just turn around and send them right back? Or is it kind of like a Lelouch Death Note thing? Like once they've been implanted with a command from a coordinate, it can't be undone? I don't know. It just seemed. I mean, Zeke is. I mean, the man's broken. We don't even really have to talk about it. Yeah, and then just a lot of big stuff on Levi choosing Armin over Erwin. Like I said, I'm still under the belief that it should have been Erwin, but you could kind of see, just for story purposes, it's kind of had to go to Armin. But if I got the choice, it would have gone to Erwin. And I saw, I mean, that's a lot of split 50-50, like even reactors and other people that I talk to, you know. It's kind of take your pick wherever you want it to be. I understand Levi's reasoning after the fact. It's like, Erwin already accepted, you know, got my father killed, didn't care about my comrades' lives. I would do anything to reach the basement. I didn't get there. I failed, and I'm giving up on my dream, and this is how I'm going out. And he came to peace with that. And then to yank him right back in there would be, I mean, it'd be a slap in the face. Yes, he gets another second chance at his dream, but would he even want that? I mean, we know more than anything he would want that, but like, just to his mental. And then him coming back knowing I charged all those kids to their deaths. I told them, you know, we were going to ride together and I'm alive again. Like, what would that do to Erwin's mental, you know? So I understand why, you know, he wasn't chosen, but at the end of the day, I still would have chosen him. And then seeing him have that, on his deathbed, like on the brink of death, him having that unconscious, you know, flashback to being in class with his dad and everything like that is crazy. Yeah, but at the end of the day, Armin was the one chosen. Like Levi said, like, I think Levi even told him, like, the next episode, you're never going to fill Erwin's shoes. You can't be him, but do what you can and don't make the choice. Don't make me. Levi said, I don't regret my choice, so don't make me regret it. You know, you were chosen. It's over. Some of us didn't agree, and it is what it is, and that's where we're at. So, what else we got? the unconscious thinking about his dad. Um, and then Kenny's speech talking about, everybody's a slave to something. And I think even Armin is as well. He wants to. He's almost a slave to something, almost kind of like Erwin is, just as far as like knowledge and wanting to know when the sea's out there. I'm telling you, it's out there. And I mean, Kenny's telling the truth. Everybody's focused on something. Mikasa would do anything for Eren. That's what she's a slave to, you know? Eren is focused on taking down the Titans. That's what he's a slave to. Everybody has, kind of what they're a slave to, and that's true in the real world as well. Kenny definitely had some good, I would have liked to see more Kenny now that I kind of look back and think about it. I remember when that first part of season 3 happened, I'm like, what is going on? We're fighting humans and military police, but the way it built up to, finding out about Rod Rice and everything played off pretty well. What else we got here? Oh yeah, that was a question. How did Grisha end up remembering his past life in the mission that he was given? Because I don't even think it had to be mentioned for Eren to remember what happened with his father and injecting him. No, I don't even think it had to be mentioned. Eren literally had to be touched by royal blood for those memories to snap back into him. So I'm curious how Grisha remembered, like, oh yeah, Kruger, the owl, the mainland over there, the coordinate. I've got to capture it. I got to find it. I got to get it. I don't know if I'm curious how his memories resparked back up, because everybody we've seen hasn't really remembered anything prior. Just like Armin, he didn't remember that he ate Bertholdt or kind of anything remotely prior in that kind of instance. I don't know, I'm sure some of you guys will kind of explain that. Eldians, Marlians, Kruger, 1820 or 1800 years ago, Ymir made the contract. So, and then I guess the truth is somewhere in the middle. Marlians are, saying, Eldians are this devil race that did this, this, and this. They enslaved, genocide. Eldian patriots are saying, no, we actually helped build bridges and advanced, humans and populations. But even Grisha was believing that blindly because that's what he chose to believe. We haven't gotten confirmation, and I'm sure the truth is somewhere in the middle of maybe the original 9 that got split, or Ymir. They were advancing humans and trying to, connect civilizations and bridges and, X, Y, and Z. But maybe it was the Marlians and other groups of humans that wanted that power for themselves and tried to forcefully take it. And then maybe once Ymir or the original 9 saw what other humans wanted with their powers, they're like, all right, you want the power, you'll have to come take it. And then they started, slaughtering groups. Maybe it's somewhere kind of mixed in with that. We'll have to kind of wait and see. The truth is somewhere in between. I'm also curious how they got the 7 Titans under their control. Was it actually something that they're really controlling them with? Or is it something that they're being threatened with, i.e. family members, things like that? It just seems, because they have technological advances over there on the mainland, but not to where it is when they originally got the 7 under their control. So how did they get those 7 under their control is what I'm most curious about, and I hope we get some explanations about. For some reason, I thought there was another Titan we hadn't seen, but every time I count it up, it equals 10. So I'm guessing that last Silver Surfer one we saw in the trailer is the 9th one. For some reason, I thought I had a lot of people telling me, oh, there's still one more. So I was counting 10, but there is 9. Eren counts as 2 with the attack and the coordinate. Armin has the colossal. Zeke as the beast. Annie as the female. We've had Ymir and her kind of Tasmanian Devil Titan that's been transferred to somebody else already. cart titan, which we don't know the identity of yet. The Silver Surfer, 1. And who am I missing? Did I say Reiner? I don't know if I said Reiner. Aaron counts as 2. Coordinate and attack. Armin's Colossal. Zeke. Ymir. The cart. The Silver Surfer. Reiner. I'm missing one. Oh, and then Annie. Yeah, then Annie. So that is 9 there. I thought I was missing one somewhere that I hadn't seen on screen, but it looks like... So we've seen every Titan on screen. And there are currently 3 we don't know the identity of. Who Ymir's got passed down to. Who the cart Titan is that we saw in the second part of Season 3. And then who that Silver Surfer Liquid Magma one is. So when the king originally fled, the person that had the attack titan fled with him and then decided to go back because he's like, hey, we can't leave our people over here to just mass genocide. And I think the king was like, I'm not going, close the walls. And then the attack titan was like, screw it, I'll go back. But then again, where did he get his hands on titan juice to keep passing down that power from? Who knows? So I'm curious, like the walls are made with titans inside that we've seen and in the flashbacks that they showed. Where the hell did he get all these titans from? Did he just, every time they tossed one over, he just built a bigger part of the wall? Or did he himself turn his own people into titans? Like, where did he get that many titans from to erect those walls? Because the titan, I think what happened to create the walls was the original king used the coordinate to have the titans stand side by side, and then they built concrete walls around them. I originally thought they hardened, but only the original 9 would have the ability to harden. So it's literally titans that are still alive. It's kind of like Ymir was when she was stuck in the ground. They're still alive. You expose them to sunlight, they'll come busting up out of there, I think. So I think he used the coordinate to have titans stand shoulder to shoulder and then built concrete, like had actual humans build concrete around them. I think that's how the walls are built. Where did he get that many titans from originally, though? I don't know. The truth about Ymir, it's somewhere in between of, was she the savior that the Eldians preach, or was she more this devil genocide taking over? I'm sure we'll kind of find that out. Truth is somewhere in between. Part of the royal family, I'm guessing there was probably a decent amount of the royal family that split and came back, or when we were talking about Dinah Fritz, did she get stuck there and just wasn't part of the original group that went over to the island, or was she part of that maybe group that was like, we have to go back and save our people? Because like I said, I'm pretty sure whoever had the attack titan probably was with the king, and those were the 2 that they didn't get under their control. I said they controlled 7 of the 9, and they dipped out and went back. I'm guessing more royal people were like, yeah, I agree, we have to go save our people. And then they just kind of, the royal family just kept, I guess, producing from then. Zeke is of royal blood. Aaron has no royal blood in him. And we already brought this up. Who makes that stronger? So then who becomes stronger? Somebody with the royal blood commanding titans or someone with the coordinate? I'm going to say probably someone with the coordinate. But I'm curious if Zeke would be able to kind of cancel some of that out. I don't know. If Aaron, found a way to use the coordinate with Historia and he commanded, 10 of these titans, go attack Zeke right now. Could he slow them down, like, don't attack me? Would they kind of like spaz out, try to fight the coordinate? Or would they all just completely ignore him? I don't know. We've already seen him. He doesn't have a hard time, but it's kind of, he doesn't have it down to a precise, because we saw that person eat Marco, or whatever his name, not Marco, whatever the fighter was that was almost as strong as Levi, when he's like, hey, don't eat him yet, and he kept eating him. But he does kind of, he's got it down pretty good. So I am curious, there's other civilizations out there, like besides the Marlians, right? They're on a continent. I think Marlians just live in one area, and they said they're getting attacked by other nations. Do the other nations know that they have these titans? Gotta think so, right? Um, Titans sleeping in the walls, can they be controlled with a coordinate? Yeah, we already brought that up. Titan juice, we already talked about that. Talk about Dinah. I mean, if they found out she was of royal blood, I mean, they could literally turn her into a Titan, or take her. What I'd have her do is produce a kid and then brainwash that kid like a Zeke or a Berthold, turn him into a Titan, have him go over there, bust open those walls, and then start controlling the Titans. You're of royal blood. We don't need the coordinate. We'll just control the Titans that are already here. We know whoever has a coordinate isn't. Well, they don't know who has the coordinate isn't going to attack them. But hey, if you're not going to give it, this is the second best thing we got, right? I'm curious. So Kruger had to have been, when Kruger ran into Faye and Grisha originally, he was not the attack Titan then. When he was beating the shit out of Grisha, I don't think he was then the Titan, because Grisha was like, oh, I remember you from 15 years ago. And you know you can only be a Titan for 13 years before you die. So I'm curious who was the owl before him. He had to have gotten it in between, I mean, a couple years after that. After Faye's death, I think a year or so after, Kruger ended up getting the attack Titan ability. Because there's no way he would have died 2 or 3 years before Zeke ended up turning in his parents. I just kind of made that math connection. You guys can tell me if that's wrong or not. If the Titans fail to be passed on, it'll be reincarnated in an unborn child. We already talked about the coordinate and everything kind of being connected on one path. Now, time does seem to be intertwined, past, present, and future. I don't think we're going as far as you can time travel back, like Aaron's going to somehow figure out how to time. I hope not, because that just seems like a lot to introduce as far as, okay, Aaron somehow transfers his memories back to the original attack Titan and somehow prevents the Marlians from getting the attack under his control because the mental's been transferred. It just seems like time is intertwined as far as the memories. Aaron's memories are intertwined with Kruger's memories, which are intertwined with other things. So when he mentioned, we got to save Mikasa and Armin, he didn't know who that was. And yeah, how Aaron can end up using the coordinate. Can Historia just be like protected on his back in her human form? Does she need to be turned into a Titan and then Aaron touch her? And then, yeah, Flock, I thought that man was speaking facts. He wasn't lying, and he still admits, I'm a coward. Just when you guys start recruiting more scouts, let them know the truth before, you just get a bunch of people, enrolling like me. When this episode ended, it looks like Aaron has 6 years left. No bullshit, in the trailer for season 4, it looks like at minimum 2 years have passed, if not 3 to 4. Aaron looks like a grown-ass man. So he's 15. He was 15 when him and Mikasa were locked up in the jail cells. Say he's 16 when they're standing on the shores of the sea. I think he's 18 plus in the trailer that they showed us for season 4. So he's going to be left with about 3 to 4 years left for, what's about to happen. So now let's talk about season 4. I do hope they don't find a way to keep Aaron alive, because that's what I've loved about Attack on Titan, is like nobody's life is safe. And when they added in the whole, 13 years, that's it for a Titan shifter. So we know the main character, Aaron, will die after this. I'm hoping there's not some kind of Marlian Titan juice that he can find to pass on the power, but then lets him remain as the attack Titan for the rest of his life, and he can live out his days with Mikasa, and they have kids and grandkids and all that kind of stuff. I hope it remains true, but I don't know what happens if he mixes with Historia, blood gets consumed. I hope we don't go down that route. Aaron has 3 to 4 years left, and I'm hoping the story sticks to that. I don't see how they can win without the 7 deciding to come to their side. I just don't see it. The technological advances alone in the war, what they have as far as military power, just in technology of tanks, airplanes, etc., etc. I don't see what them riding over there with some ODM gear and some thunder sticks is really going to do to an armored tank. You know, it looks cool from the beginning, but you've got, what, 4 Titans running around, tanks firing at you, planes. Armin can only, keep Armin's a big, unmovable target. He's not going to move out of the way of anything. They could literally gun his ass down from the skies if they wanted to. Even though he's big, I mean, he covers a long area. He could swipe a lot of planes and tanks out of the way, but how much can he really take? Same with Eren. If we just unload, if he gets stuck in a city in the middle of buildings, yeah, he could run the buildings over, but like, again, they could just gun his ass down. So I don't see how the Eldians win without the Eldians, because they still are Eldians. Zeke, Reiner, Cart Titan, Tasmanian Devil, Silver Surfer. They would have to come over to their side. Oh, they're fighting for us. They're fighting for Eldians. They're not fighting for a king. They don't want to kill us. They're not devil. They're us. If I'm the Cart Titan and I'm like, wait, they're me. They've been treating me poorly, my family poorly. They killed my parents. They made me become a soldier. We can end this. That's kind of where I see the story going, which is kind of predictable, which would be unfortunate. Because it kind of seems that way if Zeke's like, this is my brother. This is what Grisha wanted me to fight for. And, all of a sudden it's a Zeke-Eren team up. They go around holding hands, so Eren's touching royal blood, and he just controls the coordinate and unleashes hundreds of Titans on the mainland. That could happen. It'd make for some dope shots. But I kind of see that's how the story goes, because we've already seen Reiner's mental, it's not stable. So I don't know what shock therapy he needs to have done, but he's been messing up for a while as far as like, who am I? What's going on? Okay, I'm a warrior. Okay, what's going on? I'm curious. I think that's what they showed us originally, right? Did they show us the warrior process in the trailer when they had that little kid staring up and all of his like troop mates were just dead around him? Was that the warrior process? So like, are some of those kids that we saw, are they some of the shapeshifters that are now Titans that we don't know their identity yet? Could be. Like I said, I don't see how Eren, Levi, Mikasa, etc., the Eldians, the Scouts, I don't see how they can win without a Zeke or a Reiner or the other Eldian shape-shifting Titans having a change of heart and realizing, oh, we're not the enemies. You guys are us. We're not the enemies. They're the enemies. That's where I kind of see the story heading, which is kind of predictable. But if it's written correctly, it could be a predictable story, but it could still be damn good. And I guess that's just kind of where we'll leave it. Again, I could go on for another hour on X, Y, and Z, but kind of the main themes are we've got to find out the identity of these other shapeshifters and of the shapeshifters that we have met, the Annies, the Reiners, the Bertholds, the Ymir. We've gotten background of them. They've kind of made us sympathy connect with them, or at least given us some kind of build-up. So I'm curious, in a final season of, I don't know how many episodes, it's got to be somewhere between 13 and like 24, can you introduce us to 4 new characters, give us their backstory, and have enough information to make us care about them, or have some kind of mental conflict with them, and still flesh out an entire war story in enough time? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. So, Titans and their identities. Curious where the Titan spinal juice comes from. Is there any way Eren's going to be able to control the coordinate that doesn't involve Historia or Zeke? I'm going to say no. So either Zeke has a change of heart, or Historia is just going to be on that man 24/7. I'm curious to see Armin's first time transforming. That's going to be damn good. Seeing him Hulk out for the first time will be great. I'm curious how destructive he'll be. We saw what Bearholt was willing to do any and everything. I'm curious what Armin does with that ability. Because we know he has that kind of pacifist mentality of he doesn't want to kill, you know, at least not humans. He'll kill Titans, but he doesn't want to kill humans. He could kill thousands in the blink of an eye. I'm curious what he becomes when that opportunity has to happen. So seeing Armin transform the other Titans' abilities or identities, and just the story. Is there any more OMG mouth drop information that they can give us? Because all of it was like getting to the basement. That's what we've been doing for since season 1, episode 1 was what's in that basement? What's in that basement? We've gotten so much reveals in between that basement. Finding out, oh shit, there's other shapeshifters with us. Oh my god, that's Annie. Oh my god, that's Rainer, that's Bearholt. Zeke, holy shit. All that, you know, finding out, you know, Historias of Royal Blood, holy shit, you know, they can do this, do that. Oh my, they're injecting people. This was all stuff we found out pre-basement. So now post-basement with, you know, Eldians, Marlians, how Titans are formed. There's 9 of them. Boom, 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 boom. What other shock and awe mystery Scooby-Doo clues can we go over? You know, what more mind-blowing things could they introduce while introducing us to 4 new Titans and their identities and a full entire war? I don't know. I honestly don't know, but I'm ready for it. We'll leave that there. This video might be under an hour-ish, but I'm going to upload this on Sunday. Again, when you're seeing this video, go to my community page if you're interested in the Hunter x Hunter stuff. Link me the proper Hunter x Hunter links for the last 9 or 10 chapters that we've got to do. And I'm hyped for Attack on Titan. Again, if you're seeing this video and there's no watermark in front of this or anything like that, just know that we successfully uploaded a video that you guys should be able to see and hear. And fingers crossed that will be the game plan for when the episodes come out next week. Yeah, we'll leave it like that. Again, anything I brought up and said, feel free to comment on it. Non-spoilers if you're a manga reader, please. We don't need to deal with any of that. If you're an anime only, you know, go at it. I'll be responding to every possible comment that I can. Yeah, we'll leave it there. I appreciate it, guys. Attack on Titan hype. About to go down as the best anime ever. We shall see. Y'all take it easy. Like, share, favorite, subscribe as always.